Jeff Passan joining us here on a very busy day of Major League Baseball. I give you the floor on the story of the day. Jeff, what's going on with that?
Tony Clark, the executive director of the MLB Players Association, is resigning today. And this is something, Rich, that I think a lot of people in the game have been expecting for some time. After Don Van Natta and I broke the story back in May of last year that the federal government and the Eastern District of New York, which has been in the news plenty, whether it's for the NBA gambling or for Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz, they are looking into both financial improprieties that have been alleged, as well as potential obstruction as well. And I think it just got to the point now that this is a seminal year for Major League Baseball, and especially for the Players Association. You've got owners who want to implement a salary cap, and what you need if you are the players and you're opposed to the salary cap is strong leadership. And with this hanging over Tony Clark as long as it has, the feeling was it was just going to be a matter of time until he got forced out or resigned. There is no succession plan at this point. Players are meeting at 4:30 on a Zoom call from the various camps and the player leaders, the 30 for each team, as well as the 8-man executive subcommittee. Are going to talk about what the future looks like. And they might elect an interim executive director today. They may punt that for a couple days down the road. But I think what the players realize is that this is a mess. And it's a mess that they need to clean up a lot sooner than later because, the days are ticking down until December 1st. And that collective bargaining agreement is going to expire. The likelihood is that Major League Baseball is going to lock out the players. And once that happens, it's going to become a staring contest. And the question of who blinks first, it might be a question that comes down to who is strongest and most united.
So your best guess, because, battle stations are, as you just pointed out, around the corner here. Best guess how baseball writ large is hearing this news. Are they quietly fist pounding under their desk, or they're like, damn it, we need a partner to talk to here? How do you think it's being received on the other side of the table, Jeff?
I think it depends on who ascends into that role. The favorite at this point is Bruce Meyer. He's the deputy executive director. He's the lead negotiator for collective bargaining. And he's the guy who it would be easiest to just say, because of his time at the union, because of his history, because of his knowledge on the subject, let's put him in place. There's potential, though, for players to say that we need to clean house. And the fact that this is happening in February as opposed to June or July or even later on in the calendar gives us the time to go out and do a proper search. I don't believe that's going to be the approach that they have. Brent Suter, who's one of the members of the executive subcommittee, said to reporters earlier today that we are going to name an interim executive director. And everyone presumes that that's going to come from the ranks of those at the Players Association right now. But there's been a number of things over the past year that Don and I have reported on, whether it's One Team Partners, the group licensing firm that the MLBPA started back in 2019 with the NFLPA, and which grew to like a $2 billion business. That's part of the investigation. They're looking into Players Way, which was a youth baseball initiative that the MLBPA started that they spent at least $4 million on and really didn't hold all that many events. All of this goes back, Rich, to a whistleblower complaint that was filed in November of 2024 with the Department of Labor that alleged all sorts of improprieties by Tony Clark. And the investigation stemmed out of that, and now it ends in his resignation.
All right, since labor talk usually glazes the fans' eyes over, let's just wrap this part of our conversation up this way. Why should fans care about this, and how real is this? What's the timeline of the clouds forming? What should we look for? I know I just gave you 5 questions, but just tell me what fans should know. Jeff?
Yeah, maybe your producer should have told you to ask better questions rather than not wear a suit. But that being said,
wow.
Rich, here is why this matters. Because collective bargaining is the story of 2026. And it's going to be the thing that either allows for games to be played in 2027 or keeps Major League Baseball off the field then. And that's a scary proposition. The game's in a good place right now. for the most part, but there are issues with the game. The fact that the Dodgers are spending as much as they are and teams toward the bottom are spending as little as they are, and there's that giant disparity, it has alienated fans. And collective bargaining is the way to solve that. Now, is the salary cap the right way? You ask players and they will say definitively no. So I'm not sure it's necessarily going to lead to that. But for the union, it's pretty simple. Like, can they come out of this projecting strength? Or is this going to be the sort of thing that weakens them to the point where I don't think they're going to capitulate on a cap, but for Major League Baseball, something like this, owners look at it like it's positive for the league side. And it'll be interesting to see what the fallout is because, as anti-cap as Tony Clark was, Bruce Meyer is even more vehemently so. And I have trouble seeing a scenario where Major League Baseball players agree to that. And if they don't, how far are owners going to be willing to push for it? And how long could this lockout that's likely to start on December 1st last?
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.